I like it.
That wasn't too bad. I kind of like that one.
No, that was pretty good.
That one's pretty good. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our stream where we're going to play a game. My name's Colin Carlton. I'm a voice actor, and sometimes I'm a writer. And why don't you introduce yourself and what you do and who you are and what you like?
I'm Miranda. Hi. I am not a voice actor. I am trying to be a writer. I'm kind of an artist. A little
Those
bit.
those two adjectives need to get taken out. You
Oh,
are
sorry.
writing, so
Oh,
you're a
yeah.
writer,
Oh, okay.
and you are more than kind of an artist.
Oh, well, humble. Yeah, that's pretty much play video games, play
And we
some
play
role-play
role-playing
games. Mm-hmm.
Which is what we're going to do today.
Correct.
Miranda, why don't you tell the people what we're going to play?
We are going to play an amazing game called Tether. It's a 2-player game that has you writing prompts to each other and deep diving a horror that is happening in a small town that you create. I think it's going to be fun.
Same.
It's a deep dive into each other's brain pan, I guess. It's a little different. It's a little different than playing a Dungeons and Dragons game, which is what Colin and I started on doing. We were playing in a group where we had a lot of people with different ideas and one singular kind of goal to be the best, right? No. But this is a definite difference. None of us we're not going to become gods with our characters, or maybe, but probably not.
I guess we don't know what's going to happen yet.
No, I don't think we're going to end up in like a Avernus.
No, definitely
At
not.
all. Nothing like slapping each other over who's wearing a cursed crown, which is what happened in one of our games. This is definitely a game that is just him and I putting our writing chops to the test.
Yeah. We're essentially going to be writing a story or book, however you want to look at it, in real time with each other, collaboratively.
Yes. So if that's your jam, keep watching. We will discuss this game. We will lay out how to play it, tell you where you can buy it and physically have it, which I like having physical copies, but I have the PDF as well. And maybe that's something you like. Maybe that's something you want to do. Maybe you want to find something different than just playing Dungeons and Dragons with your friends or Pathfinder, whatever group game you want. Maybe you want something a little bit more intimate amongst friends. So starting now until we finish this game, we will be just us, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Just me and you. Yeah.
Just you and me. Which I think is kind of fun because not everybody has... Dungeons and Dragons is really kind of geared towards... you can do it with 3 people, but even that's a little tight. It's really 4 to 5 to 6 is kind of what you want to hit. But if you don't have that many people who want to play that game, but you do have somebody who wants to play this seems like a really fun alternative for 2 creative people to kind of get together and spend some time and do something like this.
Mm-hmm. And there are people that I've spoken to that would like to play something like a Dungeons and Dragons or something like that, but they don't feel that they are creative enough, or they get nervous about basically improvising with other people. And I think that having these games that are 2-player tabletop kind of games is nice, because then it kind of gets you into that process of thinking and helping those creative brain cells firing, maybe. But I think it'll be a great exercise no matter what.
There's also a lower bar for like technical aspect because with this you're not rolling as many dice as possible and adding and subtracting and everything like that. You're basically just being creative and telling a story.
Correct. There's no dice. No dice. You don't have to make a character sheet.
Nope. Which can also be really intimidating especially to new people.
When you have 7 books and are like, here, pick something that you want to play. You are deciding who your person is.
Also, I'm kind of just thinking about it, but this would actually be like a great exercise in any kind of like improv class or drama class or people who are drama partners and they're looking to do something along those lines or something like that. That could be really fun.
It definitely reminds me of some of the creative exercises I did in college when we did creative writing.
Yeah.
In a group setting, but it was, instead of it was being 2 people, just brainstorming and just kicking it off with each other. It was like 12 people and it was like a game of telephone. So the story started one particular way and the whole story ended up getting crazy. And by the end, you had the person that originally started it, got it back and was like, oh, this is all crap. Literally said that and was like, that was all a dream, the end. And I was like, wow, way to end the process, but okay.
Smack.
Yeah, I was like, wow, good job, guys. But yeah, it does have that. It does lend that. And I think the other games that we looked at, we're going to try and play at least 8 of these style of games, bringing you these really cool things to do with your friends on rainy days and stuff like that. Hopefully. Yeah.
And this one will probably end up being, I forget how many journal entries in it is it? Do you remember?
There's 16, 17 journal entries. So we're going to aim to try to do 2 prompts, a past and a present prompt every time we stream. But we'll see. We'll see how we do mentally. You're going to see us actually work it out. We have our journals for this. So this game only needs a journal. It needs 2 people, a deck of cards, and a writing utensil. So we have pens and some other stuff, I think. Which, can you show your journal? We did not plan this. We were talking about doing this game and we saw that it needed a journal. And we both got very similar journals. They both have a tree. Mine's just red.
And mine's like a little bit more tanny.
Yeah, so
I mean, it's really funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yours looks like it's been in the sun for a while, like nice and baked, But so let's talk more about Tether. Do you want to kick it off a little?
Yeah. So first of all, if you want to buy Tether, which it's very inexpensive, by the way, and it's done by somebody named Adam Baffoni, and he's just a small-time game maker, and you can check it out. Adam Baffoni, AdamBaffoni. Nope. FFONI.ITCH.io, and then just /Tether. But you can go there, you can support him. Like I said, it's really very inexpensive for what it is. It's a really fun idea, and I think he was really onto something when he did it. So that's that.
If you peruse that website too, you'll find other games that we're going to be playing. I think all of our games are going to be ordered off of that website, and it's the Ratty Incanti. So
it's cool. It'll be fun. This will keep us busy for a little while too.
Yeah, especially when it gets hot.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to bring up. There we go.
All right, cool. So what I like about this game is right off the bat, it tells you that you should have safety tools in place. A lot of tabletop games, especially if you haven't been doing them or you've never played one before or whatever, there should be this in place. Dungeons and Dragons, I've played in a number of tables that never had this. And I think that it's really important that you do have your safety tools in place. Now, you can't really, they're called X cards, where you just raise them and say, hey, I can't deal with that particular thing, from, phobias, so any trigger phobias, to trauma phobias, or not trauma phobias, but trauma or any of that kind of stuff. But in this case, they want you to be able to have a line and veil. So you guys talk to each other, figure out what you can write about and not, what kind of events that you may want to deep dive that maybe the other person doesn't want to do. So it's really important to talk to the person you're collaborating with. Very important to lay it out. It is also really important when you play any game to have that. Colin and I already have that set in place, and we've been playing quite a long time now together, so we already are pretty tight on what we like and don't like.
We sort of got on the same page with each other pretty fast, pretty early on when we started playing, but not everybody's going to do that. And especially like if you're just playing with somebody brand new, maybe like this is a great way to kind of tell each other where your boundaries are and where your limits are. And honestly, maybe if you're just making a new friend or dating somebody, this is like a great thing to do.
Here come my boundaries. And then if they red flag you, you can be like, yeah,
yep,
time to change partners and tether friends.
And tether friends.
And tether friends.
Yeah, that's lines and veils. I think it's super cool that they do that too.
Yeah, I really appreciate that they have that. So let's get into the game again. So I said earlier that it takes place in a small town that we build together, or you and your other co-player build together. Mm-hmm. The premise is that the town is being haunted by some sort of entity, a dark entity, which the text will always refer to as the terror. So as we write, you're going to hear us refer to the terror, but that's how the game wants you to refer to this thing. The terror in each playthrough of Tether will be unique. So you don't have to just play this one time and it's done. You can play it again and try to get different prompts or navigate something else. It's not just a one play game. We're only going to play it once here, but that doesn't mean that we don't, push other people to come play with us on it.
Yeah.
There are some things that they have in place that are always true about this terror that we have to write about. And here they are. It only appears periodically. So it's once every generation this is happening. And it becomes active in that town during that time. Between the brief periods of activity, it's going to be dormant. So in many ways, this is kind of like a nod to Stephen King. It was like that, it was like 75 years, right? It did that.
Yeah,
something. I think so. Right. I haven't read it in a long time, but yes. The terror wants to cause panic in town and wants people to die. So this story is not a happy story, I don't believe. So
I guess we should have said that.
If this is not your jam, this is legit a horror series that we're embarking on, guys. Colin and I love cosmic sci-fi monster horror. That's something we're like really into. So a lot of our narratives are going to be in that way. Just an FYI. So this is not I don't know, maybe it is a happy story if the terror wins, right? Maybe the terror is like, yes, I did it.
Yeah, kids. It could be, to be honest, it could be super funny. We don't know because we haven't written it yet.
Yeah.
We're gonna write it week by week.
It ends up being super comical, and and then Adam reaches out to us, and it's like, no,
Please never play my game
no,
again.
please,
That is not the intent.
please, can you remove all the content? Thank you. Don't ever do that again.
You made
Next
the
time,
terror a 1 pound bag of sugar. Please stop. Everyone was terrified of diabetes. That was it. It wasn't good. Please leave
man.
this alone.
This is, we get emails. So the terror does have a weakness. So everything else about the terror is going to be decided by us as the player. But those things, it has a weakness. It's there to cause panic. It wants people to die. It shows up periodically, and it's dormant in between generations. It's solid. Before we begin, we don't really want to be discussing what the terror is. I'm sure we kind of have a little bit of ideas where we might want to go. Oh man, yeah. My dog is barking like crazy. I apologize.
Your dog is the terror.
Yeah, do you hear him? I'm so sorry. I can't even mute myself right now. So rather, as you draw prompt cards, so we're going to be drawing these prompt cards. The prompt cards come from our deck of cards, and we're going to build that deck before we're done with this stream today. You should discover what the terror is together. So,
yep.
So let's get into world building.
Yeah.
Because this is when it gets real fun. I'm actually reading the book, so when you see me look down, I'm reading. I have the book here.
Oh yeah, that's something we didn't say either. You can get it digitally, or you can get it.
Yeah.
Physically.
It's and pretty.
You have the physical one, and I have the digital one.
It is. I have both. Look at that. But it's pretty, and I wanted it. Damn it. But yes. So before we do our prompts, because there's a whole section on prompts, which helps us guide the story. So before you even get into that, before you slide into it, you got to build the world. So here's some questions that we got to ask each other, and figure out what we're going to do. So I'm going to use my Tether book. Now, normally you would have only one that you guys share, and you can do all this in one session, like in one day if you want. They recommend you take time to sit with it and really think about it, and you're going to see probably that because there's going to be us doing 2 prompts, whatever. So, if it takes a little bit, you're going to see that. But we both have our own journals that we'll be writing in, and we will have a TikTok. So if you don't believe, you can look. We'll be posting our journal entries over there too.
Yeah.
For funsies, But
we might even do live stuff over there at some point.
Yeah, we totally could. We could do that if people want to see us over there.
Yeah. If people want to see us anywhere.
Look at how many people are watching us right now.
I know. We're very popular.
Just probably me and you when we go back and look at the footage. When we're like,
But that's not why we're doing it.
Oh, no. We're doing this for you, the people.
Oh, not me.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Sorry. We are doing this for each other, really. Colin and I had been talking about doing something like this for a long time. I don't know. He had his own little podcast going called Characters in Class, and he had that going for a while, and he built characters. I'm talking about you like you're not on this.
Do you want me to pretend that I died and you're talking about me
Yes, he was yes, he was so good, that Colin. he was so great, and it's a shame really that he's no, but really he did build characters for Dungeons and Dragons, and you can use those characters. And I got to go on there and build random characters, and I always tried to build them pretty ridiculous ones that I knew, because we were playing Dungeons and Dragons with a dungeon master named Matt. And Matt, I always knew he wouldn't like my characters, so I tried to like slide in the like most ridiculous storylines and then tell him I was going to play them eventually.
Well, and that whole thing was all
never
about
did.
like storytelling.
Yeah.
Time,
And that was fun.
which was always fun.
But we had talked about doing something, and I'd pitch things to Colin, like, oh, what about this? Yeah, that sounds good. And then we got busy and wouldn't do it. And so all of our projects kind of came to an end, came to a close, and we found a good opportunity to actually play with each other, as weird as that sounds. You know, we had time. And what better way to carry on this kind of collaborative journey than to build stories together, you know? And eventually, who knows, we might run a game on here. And if we do have fans, or maybe they might join us.
Sometimes we also play video games on this channel.
We do. Right now we're playing Journey to the Savage Planet.
Yep.
Which is a lawful evil game. It is, if you feel bad about things, like, this game will make you feel worse. It's but you find like, forget about that. I'm sorry. My ADD, man. You just like.
It's my fault. I
yeah. Okay, but anyway. All right. So anyway.
World building.
But this is But this is what, this is where we started from. We started this in a place of really wanting to play with each other, and here we are. So now we're going to world build.
Yeah.
All right. So the first question we got going on is, where is the town? So I'm going to write. Oh, I got someone's phone number in this.
Wow.
I don't have an eraser. I don't know where this came from.
You've had that book for like a month and you already got phone numbers in there?
Yeah, I jotted down like a little pencil. Never mind. Anyway, so all right. So where is this town?
Are we still feeling good about New England?
Yeah, I kind of. Hold on. My pen died.
Oh no!
hold please.
On air? Your pen died on air? My God!
Hold please. All right, hold on. I got another.
Commercial break.
All right, here we go. I think. Oh, this one works. This one's nicer. All right. I do. So Colin and I did this. We started world building prior, and our video got really messed up, so we had to cut an entire hour. So this is round 2, but we kind of had an idea in place. But yeah, we were thinking that this town could be set in New England, because New England can be real creepy, but also write what you know, right? Like, write the area write the kind of, it lends to an easier time when you're first starting out as a writer, I think.
Yeah. Being
able to draw from the environment that's right there.
Yeah, like especially if you can take a walk and look at where you want to write and actually like sit down and describe it or think about it, or, people watch, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, that was always really helpful for me when I did a lot of service jobs and a lot of like restaurant jobs through the years, and people watching, I had no idea how important that was going to be later on.
Yeah. I do a lot of like nature write, I guess. Like right now I'm like really like writing woodsy stuff, and being alone and dealing with like mental health and stuff like that. So it's very easy to write in those spaces when you know it.
Yeah.
So we live in New England, And so I think we talked about doing the hill towns because the hill towns are easier than being like, oh, it's the city.
Correct.
Because the idea is that this particular town is about 2 hours from a city. And that puts you anywhere. When you're in, say, Massachusetts, you can be like literally anywhere.
Yep.
If you go 2 hours from Boston.
Yep.
You know.
Doesn't that even get you into Maine?
Yes. Maine,
so, right?
New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Vermont.
Maybe that might be a little far. Yeah.
Well, if you're not,
might be 3.
Yeah, because 3. I think Vermont is 3.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yes, but definitely New Hampshire, definitely Connecticut.
Oh, yeah.
Hour and a half is almost close to New York. You know, you have another, half hour to the border or whatever, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so it yields itself really well. But yeah, I mean, I could see this working, out in the Southwest, in the mountains, in, like farmland in Montana or the Dakotas, something like that. Wherever, the middle of nowhere, Canada, like.
It could, seriously, anywhere. Like, if anyone's watching this that's overseas,
oh yeah,
I mean, really, it lends itself great to any environment that you're
even better, I think, because there's more history there. Like, I mean, we have our history, but we think we're old in New England, and then you go to Europe, and it's like, oh, this castle was around before our country was even formed.
Correct.
Like, okay, humbling.
Definitely.
But yeah, New England, Hilltown. I wrote working class, but it looks like working glass.
Oh yeah, that's for what are the people who live here? Like, what do they do? Like, what are they like? And we talked about on our last one, but we'll talk about it now, that a lot of when we look at these little towns out here and stuff, a lot of them were the cities were paper mill country.
Yep.
And when the paper mills started drying up, so did those towns. Some of those towns were farm country, and some of the farms are still kicking no problem, but a lot of those machinist kind of jobs really dried up in a lot of the areas, and they had to travel farther to go get
well, in a lot
work.
of places around here, the economic downturn that happened in these little towns where the factories just went out of business is just incredibly noticeable, and happened like relatively fast for what it is. But yeah, I mean, stuff like that, you can see it all over, where there's towns and cities that clearly used to be bustling and busy, especially probably, back in like the 70s and the 60s and everything like that. And when automation started coming in, and when the factory just wasn't needed anymore. And yeah, paper mills and sawmills and steel mills, all that stuff. When that stuff went somewhere else, the money dried up.
Yeah. So we said, it's a blue collar life, man.
Yep.
That's what, they were hard workers. Maybe they keep to themselves. So if we go based on that, like, it's town dynamics. So they don't like outsiders kind of stuff. Like, it's that local camaraderie.
It's not like everything we're saying so far is very rooted in the truth.
Yeah.
If you go into some of like the really like hilly parts of New England, people are going to side-eye you a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. They, sometimes you get friendlies, you get friendly stuff, but you do have a little bit more watchful gaze when you're an outsider, Yeah.
Which is fair. Yeah, 2 hours outside of the city. So that was definitely like a prompt. We decided, so there's a 30-year gap, right?
Yes.
So I think we decided to put it between now and 1993.
Yes.
Because we're both born 80s, lived 90s kiddos.
Yeah. So we kind of have a feel of that. But if you're wondering what we're talking about, it would be number 4. What time periods will you be playing in? So they want a 30-year gap. So we're like, well, what can we play that would be kind of fun to play? And I think a lot of people might want to go backwards further, like, oh, let's do it like, 1800s or early 1900s. But I was like, it'd be funny if we did it like now, like, and 1993, like.
Oh man, that's radical. But I spilled my Capri Sun on my journal.
Playing like a 9-year-old, whatever.
I had it in my fanny pack and I thought it was fine.
My East Pack, man. It was I had my starter jacket on. They ripped
my trapper keeper was supposed to keep it safe.
What is it? What was that chick's name? I'm gonna get roasted for it. That had like all the sparkly unicorn. It was bright pink. Lisa Frank. Thank you.
Remember Lisa? I know who Lisa Frank is.
Oh man, I believe that's who it is. I did all the trapper keeper designs, and they were like, "This is totally coolest."
Yeah, I don't. I mean, okay, I know the designs you're talking about.
I ran from the terror in my jellies.
Hang on, let me buckle up my rollerblades so I can get out of here.
My moon shoes got caught. Guys, sorry. I gotta be home for Nickelodeon.
I was sitting in my bed watching Hey Dude. And all of a sudden the terror jumped out of my Nissan.
Oh man. I don't know. I had my first car was a 1989 Dodge Aries. Like the K model. Y'all look that up. It was, I had like a bench seat. It was sweet. 8-track. For you youngsters.
8-track.
Look up an 8-track. We had to take it out and update it to a cassette tape.
If anybody is watching this on any of the platforms that we are on, the majority of them are not going to know what an 8-track is.
It's my favorite thing.
8 tracks? You mean
what's
like 8 streaming tracks?
So you mean like ATE 8? Yeah, that track 8. Yes. All right.
All right.
What are the major?
The 90s.
I know. Oh my gosh. Okay. What? Oh wait, what did I do? Oh yeah. How far is the nearest town? Yep, 2 hours. Okay.
We went to the landmark part, right?
Major industries. So paper mill, I think, is what the major industries in town we were doing.
Yep.
Paper mill. Yeah, farming. No, I spent time in dairy country, The sweet smell of cow in the morning. So name one landmark in town that has remained through both time periods. Now, we had brainstormed a bridge, like a covered bridge.
Yep. Which I think is still good.
Yes. And we named it last time Cutter's Bridge.
Yep. And then it changes its name, right?
Yes, because originally we had it Cutter's Bridge, named after like William Cutter. It was a war veteran. Yeah. Which is totally doable in this part of the world. But a rich family, Renee Silverstone, had it changed.
Yep. So it was Renee Silverstone Bridge.
Yeah. Or the Silverstone Bridge, or whatever.
Or the Silverstone Bridge. Yeah, whatever.
But it's still the same. It's still the bridge is still there, no matter the name.
Probably hasn't even been repaired or fixed.
Probably not.
Maybe
probably a little dilapidated. Ooh. It got painted. It got painted red. Because that's what they paint them. They paint.
Yep.
And that's it. This makes me want to go drive out and go find
the bridge.
Yeah, find a covered bridge and film it, which I'm going to do it. Stay tuned. All right. So name one location or landmark outside of town that has remained through both time periods. So it's out of town. And we said a Dunkin' Donuts.
No. It's a train station.
Oh, sorry.
That a Dunkin' Donuts moved into.
So you know what? We don't even have to have that. It could just be a Dunkin' Donuts because the Dunkin' Donuts has never changed. It was Dunkin' Donuts and now it's just Dunk or whatever. They just updated the name because it used to be like a little man that was like, come in the morning and get your fresh.
Time to make the donuts.
Time to make the donuts. And now it's like Dunk. It's lived through many changes in spelling.
So many different variations of brown and orange. So
many. Brown, orange, and pink. They threw pink in there at some point.
Yep, for a
That's
little
great.
while. Yep.
So Dunkin' Donuts is our one location. Because it wasn't Starbucks, guys. It was always Dunkin' Donuts. That and Subway, surprisingly. But Subway used to be the jam back in the day when they made everything, like, everything was fresh.
And then Jared ruined it all.
Jared did ruin a lot of things.
But, maybe at the Dunks, there's some woman named Gladys who's worked there all 30 years.
Oh, she's the manager now. Come on.
Yeah. She started out, it was just a summer job. And now she's the manager.
Yep. How is Gladys? Here, we're going to put... Oh, wait, hold on. I think we have...
She's got 5 kids now.
What is one thing that changed between the two time periods? Gladys.
Gladys got promoted.
Gladys was the one, we had put technology because legit.
Oh, yeah.
But now I feel like we're going to add in Gladys.
Yep, we got to add in Gladys.
Because I feel like she's changed between technology has changed, but Gladys has stayed the same pretty much between, she's remained, she's always been a fixture at the Dunkin' Donuts.
Gladys even has some technology in her now. Maybe she has to have like a...
she had a
hip replacement.
I don't know, because if Gladys started working there when she was like 18, she'd be like a little older than us. She wouldn't need a knee replacement. She'd still be good.
I don't know, man. There's some days that I kind of think I don't know.
Unless it's not Dunkin' Donuts, but a diner. Gladys has been working there for... Oh, yeah.
She works at a diner and Dunks.
That's part of the landmark in town is not only the covered bridge, but like the diner.
Yeah.
And it's literally just called the diner. Like, hey, we're going to go to the diner.
We're going to head out to the diner.
So I'm going to add the diner, and Gladys is part of that.
Okay.
And then we talked about what our was. Yeah. Oh, we also talked about what has technology changed, but we also talked about there being possibly the government.
Oh, yes.
The local
It's actually
government
one.
has, yeah, the local government has,
It's like basically stayed the same, either like in the
yeah.
same family or, potentially the same people. But
Mhm.
at least like something's fishy about the government officials.
Yes, that they've just remained the same, rotation,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I liked that
I
a
like
lot. That was a good
Yeah.
idea.
I mean, if it's not a big town, they, electing someone almost like long term is not especially if they don't have like a mayor, if it's just a council, like
And
a
if they're running
board.
unopposed, yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going
Just
to do? You're going to vote for Gladys? No, I don't think you're going to vote for Gladys.
Gladys is like, someday I'm going to get in there and make changes that we all deserve.
Oh, my hip.
So what is the name of the town? I had said Prairie because originally I was like, oh, what if we do like something down south? Because I spent time down in Texas and Colin doesn't remember, but he.
There's a difference between not remembering and blocking out a large period of time.
Selective memory. Yeah. He blacked out for most of his childhood, so he doesn't remember exactly where he was, but he was in Texas, guys.
That's why I drink.
That's why I said Prairie. And then we decided maybe East Prairie, because when you're out here, there's always like an East or like a West something.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
But it's not like there's 4 prairies. There's not a North Prairie and a South Prairie. No, there's East Prairie.
It's just East. Just East. And
East.
you know what? Maybe people start like dropping off some of the letters. And they just start making up their own names for it. But anyway, so that's our world building. That's what we got. We had a lot more brainstorm when we did this on the last one, but now this next part, the character creation, is where you're going to see us really start spitballing stuff, because we haven't done it. This is the first time we're going to do it. So I'm going to write. I'm going to put my character creation on this side. So that way, when I open this book up and do a TikTok, you can see that I have it. All right, cool. So let's talk about character creation, y'all. So they say that our character is the perspective through which we will experience this game. Before we create our characters, you should decide which is the 2 time periods each player will be writing their journal entries from. And for the remainder of these rules, the character who is living in the earlier time period will be referred to as the past. And the character who is living now, for us, the later time period is the present.
Right.
So once you decide who plays that, will you take turns following the questions about your character? And you don't need very in-depth answers to these questions just yet, since you'll likely reveal more as we write, as we play. But who knows, maybe as we brainstorm and get excited, we start really developing our character here. Who knows? Let's find out. So do we want to flip a coin to see who's who?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We could either flip a coin or we could rollies.
Ooh, let's do rollies. Yeah, all right, here we go. Rolly time. Do. I have to open a door to get my own.
I have to open my dice box.
All right. Me too. So I got birthday dice, and I got quite a number of dice. But if you guys ever want fun little dice, go to Newberry Comic. No. This is how we get a sponsor.
Yeah, we just start sponsoring stuff until someone actually pays us for it.
Could you imagine? This is called fan roll.
I'm just gonna I'm just gonna warm up my wormwood dice.
Oh, do we want to wormwood dice this?
I think we're gonna. I mean, I'm at least going to wormwood dice this
Oh, well, then I want to wormwood dice this too.
because
Do I have-
wormwood is the best and available on the internets at a website.
This is mine. All right, as we play around. Sorry, guys, this is not important, but here we go. Wormwood also makes you. This is from Dispel Dice. Look how pretty they are, yeah?
That is actually really pretty.
Yeah, they roll well. They hate me. So, do we want to do 20s?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay.
Does that work? Or do you want to do something else?
No, we can do 20s. That's fine.
Just
This is called
roll?
a D20. Yeah, highest roll. Here we go.
Okay. 3,
Hmm.
2.
I rolled before we counted down.
That's fine. Do we say it at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
2.
11. You got a 2. I got an 11. But
All
wait,
right, so you win.
no, wait, we didn't decide. We didn't
We didn't
decide what that
decide.
means.
Okay, let's do this again.
That doesn't mean at all. That doesn't mean anything. We just rolled for no reason.
Shit. Okay.
Okay.
You get to decide. You get to decide which one you want. What would you like to write in?
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Well, you know what?
Okay, wait. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we can figure this out.
Okay. Do we have anyone else at home right now?
I mean, I do. There is someone at home.
Okay. We got this.
Okay, so let's say. Okay, let's just arbitrarily pick.
I think you should.
I'm gonna pick a queen, and I'm gonna pick a 2. Okay.
Okay.
Queen will be present time.
Okay.
2 will be the past. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not gonna
All
look
right.
at them.
Yep.
Okay.
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 And then whatever you pick is it.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
So the queen is the future. The 2
Right.
is the present, and the 2 is the past.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just gonna pick a card.
Okay.
I
Did you hear my cat?
did. I heard your cat. Okay.
I have to pet her. Queen.
Okay. Queen. So I'm the present.
You're the present.
I'm the present. You're the past.
Woo! Oh God, I have to reread 1993.
Let me just go back to 1993 real fast.
All right, so I am the
Okay, so
past.
I am in the present.
Hey, you know what? It makes sense for our journals
Oh, that's
because
true.
yours is way faded than mine. I mean,
Yep.
it's, it's pretty fun.
That does fit.
All right, so now it goes like take turns. You don't need very in-depth answers, and that's pretty fun. So we can we take turns. Do we want to go present, past for this next?
Yeah, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter to me either.
Okay, yeah. So let's see. So I need a name.
Yeah. What is your name?
Okay. My name will be. I want something vaguely androgynous.
Okay. But not something like super easy like Alex. Okay.
What about names? Christopher is not a name that can go either way.
But Chris is.
Chris is, but I don't like Chris.
Oh, okay. Don't be offended, anyone named Christopher. He doesn't really mean that.
Yeah, sorry. Personal specifics.
I have a good one.
What's yours?
No, yours. Colina.
Get out of here.
Colleen.
Jordan. I'm going to go with Jordan.
Okay. I like Jordan. Jordan feels like such a 90s name.
It does, actually, doesn't it? Okay, Jordan.
I like Jordan.
And then...
Okay.
How old am I?
Yeah.
Ooh. Really quick, do you have any idea how old you want to be? Because I don't necessarily want us to be...
I kind of like the idea that it's the past. Hear me out. The past is younger, trying to warn the present who's older.
That's what I was thinking.
You were thinking? Okay,
yeah.
Good.
I mean, I think as a 90s person, it would be more fun if you were a kid.
Right.
I mean, maybe that's just because we were kids in the 90s, but...
Well, and the whole Goonies thing, that kind of, the sense of adventure, and having...
was so big, everything was so kid-centric in the 90s.
Yeah,
okay, so...
an adventure-y and, get out there and do stuff. So having someone who's younger trying to warn the present about what's happening in the past, but you're talking almost in real time, so it's like it doesn't exist, kind of. I don't know. So we'll see how it rolls, but I like the idea of young. Yeah, I was thinking 93. I think I was in.
You would have been
grade.
Yeah.
I was like
4th grade.
Yeah, it's 10, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
9, 10?
Yeah, 10.
Yeah,
9
so 10. To think of what that was like. I had...
I mean, you and I were basically the same age back then.
Yes.
But yes, I very specifically. I remember so much from 1992 to 1995. There are very core memories locked in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my person 52.
Ooh, your current age. He dyes his beard.
Oh, I got arthritis. I can't make it go up anymore.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe in that range, 11, 10, 11, and 50s, yeah. That'd be fun.
Okay, where do you spend most of your time? Are you a student? Do you have a job? Do you own a business in town?
Ooh. Well, if you are in your 50s, what kind of 50-year-old are you? Do you have a job?
Yes. But I'm thinking, so wouldn't it be fun if okay, so this is a very town, this is very much a town set in its ways, especially if there's something weird about the government where they never change, or they never or they change only very specifically. So if a lot of things stay the same, like Gladys at the Dunks, they wouldn't very much appreciate somebody coming in to open up a restaurant or a shop or land developer, right? So maybe I'm coming in to open up luxury apartments in one of the factories that are shut down.
Oh,
you like that?
That's fun. I like that. You could take it from the perspective of being in the town, and being older, like not being in the mindset of a child and seeing this thing, like seeing this whole thing play out as an older person, part of the community. So maybe maybe you're like, you could do also, maybe you are part of the in crowd.
Okay. Yeah, we could do that. Because if I'm from the town and I'm in my 50s and you're in the town and you're in the 90s and you're a kid, that means I would have been there. So I either wasn't interested in being involved in whatever was going on at that time, or I was gone. I guess I could have been gone. Maybe I'm a soldier.
Or maybe you just moved back home.
Oh, sure.
Maybe you were there. Because if you were, if you're 50, I don't have access to it. Yes, I do. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. I have to get a calculator out. Hold on.
This break is sponsored by Squirt.
By Caliber, the only calculator that I actually use.
Because fuck Texas Instruments.
Yeah. We don't talk about Texas here because Colin doesn't like it. But I enjoy living in El Paso. Just gonna put that out there. I don't know if anyone heard that, but
I did.
Oh, okay. All right, so you are 30. Okay, 52 minutes. So you would have. So you'd been in your 20s.
College.
Yeah, you'd be in your 20s. So you would. You know what? You would have. Maybe you left before it started happening.
Okay, so I'm from the town.
You left. Maybe you're developing. Maybe you left, got your fancy college degree, came back and are doing the luxury apartments. Maybe you bought that, like with whatever you wanted to reinvest in the town that you grew up in.
I'll even okay. So here we go. I got it. Okay. I get the fuck out of Dodge, right? Because I don't want to be here. I'm in my 20s and it's the 90s. Peace out, man. So I'm gone. I go to as far away as I can possibly get. So let's say I go to UCLA.
Ooh.
College at UCLA. Right? Get myself a degree and then go work at a tech startup where we develop let's see, the 90s. We develop the next innovation in flip phones, right? Maybe we're trying to develop some like BlackBerry or something like that. Some tech thing. So we're developing tech stuff. I go off to Silicon Valley, and then it works more or less, but then I lose it. Then like the company either forces me out or gets bought out or crashes, whatever, right? So now I have a little bit of money, but no job, no real reason to stay, whatever. And I'll come back to town and start up my luxury apartment complex. Does that make sense? Or do I need a reason to come back to town? Or is that too like done? Like, ooh, my parents died, so I came back to town. I'm
Your
Orlando
mom.
Bloom.
Your mom is sick.
Okay.
You were making it out there, no problem. You got a nice chunk of money,
Yep. And then we sold it.
Maybe you sold the company because you knew you were going to get more money, and it just so happened to be at a time where your mom needed help because she was sick, and your dad really can't handle it. Maybe.
Maybe, right before I left, maybe my dad just disappeared. We're like, that guy, he left.
Yeah.
What a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows what actually happened? Maybe that is what happened. Maybe he just left, but maybe not.
Or maybe that's just a point to stick somewhere for possible future writing stuff, because maybe he disappeared when you were in your 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you definitely went out west looking to improve your mom's life, get her out of that little town, kind of thing. And she doesn't want to leave.
Yeah.
Because that's where,
she doesn't want to go.
That's her home. That's her place now. Like, she's been there for so long. Like, she doesn't
She's
feel
best friends
like
with Gladys.
She doesn't want to leave Gladys. But maybe she's in that mindset. Like, who doesn't have parents that, are so attached to where they're at that, that if they try to leave, that they're afraid of new things or change, and she just doesn't want to, but she's sick and she needs help. So you sell the company. It came at a good time that it all came like happenstance, and so you find yourself with a huge chunk of money and some spare time. So you come back to town. Maybe you're not quite buying in yet to this luxury apartment thing. Maybe you're fixing up, or maybe you're fixing up the house.
Oh, that could be too.
Maybe you're like, oh, this house needs, I know my mom's not going to leave this place, so what does it need? So you're there trying to take care of her, get her to the good hospital that's 2 hours away.
Accurate.
And deal with her Medicaid.
So,
and all,
so are my guys, or my parents, were we farmers? Were we factory workers? I think maybe factory workers.
I think factory. I think maybe he was part of the mill,
Yeah.
Or like mechanic. Maybe he's in the mechanical field. Maybe there's like a machine shop or something that's kicking out parts,
Could have been like the family was always in the factory business, and then when that started to shut down, started moving to other mechanical stuff. So there's always tinkering and things like that. Always very blue collar though. Until I went off and did my shit down in LA.
Or maybe he was the like handy guy in town, like Joe Fix It, Anytime, you always call. I don't know what's a good. I mean, Joe is like such a call, or John. Just call John and he'll come over and he'll cut that firewood for you, or you have something that needs painted. Your dad would go and do it.
Maybe like he owned the gas station with like the repair shop in it.
Oh, and maybe this is the first time you coming back, seeing your dad's shop, which is still there, but it's like closed, like run down, like no one's touched it since.
Yeah, dilapidated and broken glass and everything like that.
I love that we just are blown through these questions that like organically, because it's like, where do you spend most of your time? Are you a
Yeah.
student? Do you have a job? Do you own a business? And that leads into like, what is your living situation?
It's almost like you and I have created characters before.
I know, isn't that weird?
Strange.
It's almost like we like build a character and then we sit with that person and think about like who these people are, and then play them, and then annoy everybody with our character choices
every time.
Yeah.
Okay, describe your living situation. We got that.
Yep. What is something that's important to you?
Boy, that's a big one.
Mhm.
Because so if he or she, whatever, I haven't really even decided, but I thought it would be good to like leave it a little blank. So if Jordan decided to get out of town, that usually indicates that you want more than something you can get in town, or you're on the run from something. You don't want to be around somebody. So if the town life was too small, so they ran off to California and to Silicon Valley, they wanted more of a life for themselves. Didn't want to be Mr. Fix-It, right? Didn't want to go into the gas station business. Didn't want to deal with that.
They didn't want that small town life. They wanted something bigger. And they got it. They went to school. They persevered. And then
and then that still wasn't necessarily correct, right?
Or, they got everything they wanted, and then what pulls them back in is their mom. Maybe their mom is their most important thing because they don't have siblings. Maybe their mom is the last of their family. Their grandparents are gone. Their parents didn't have anybody. Maybe you're the last of the line. Maybe.
So they thought what was important to them was success. Money, maybe, like stability, because they probably had a very like blue collar life, probably didn't have a lot of things, hand-me-downs, bullshit like that. And then
had to ride a bike.
Off. Yeah.
No car,
bike. And then you go off and you get all this money in Silicon Valley. And then what does it buy you? You still find yourself coming back home to be with what's actually important, which is that it's your mom, or the life you had before, or unresolved issues that you haven't taken care of. Like maybe that's actually what's sort of important. So home is what's important right now.
Yeah. And coming back, you have the money, you have the time, and you're like, maybe you are like, what, I'll just invest in this, in my parents' house. Maybe you're like, maybe I can turn around this, maybe I'll go check out my father's gas station, and maybe I can make it something more.
Yep.
Or not, but you can go check it out, because maybe you're going to sell that to help pay for your mother's medical bills, because it's like a perfect spot for a gas station. And so maybe your mom finally agreed to sell that property. And so
she
you're
hasn't
there
sold it this whole time.
Yeah. And maybe that's where you run
down.
Yeah. And maybe that's where you find the journal.
We'll deal with that when we get there. But that's a good idea.
Just little things.
The last prompt is, what do I fear? Which is an interesting question.
Yeah.
Because what does somebody who is successful in their 50s fear? But it's probably all that going away, right? Like you climb for stability, you like scrape together what you have, and then you build on it, but everything scales. Like just because you're successful and you have a successful company that you've sold and you have a little chunk of change in your pocket doesn't mean that you're not fearful that it all won't go away tomorrow for
Right.
no reason.
Well,
Because
and
you're in a
if
startup business, it could fall apart at any moment.
any minute, the stocks, maybe you're like rich on stocks too. You know, you played the stock market real well. You get the dividends that are great.
And you spend so much time trying to run away from what you had as a child, like literally leave so that you can be more than you were as a child in this small town. And your biggest fear is to fall right back there, which is terrifying right now because you're back home where you ran away from.
And maybe that sheds light for some of the more deeper fears. Like, because someone who's that driven and that's so focused on like financial and success, waking up and looking around and seeing I am successful, I do have everything, but are they married? You know, was having children a goal? Like, did they want to have a family and they just lost sight of that while they were on their road to success, that they felt like they needed everything before they could have what they really wanted. And now they're back home with their mom that's ailing, that, you know, they see that deterioration, they see all of it. And now are they like, is their fear now, that internalized thing of like resenting themselves, almost like that they didn't have that future, and now the fear is like, oh, now I have nothing to pass forward. Like it's what happens to everything when we're gone, like that kind of, there's this mortality fear that happens when I think you and I think we've hit it a little bit now that we're in our 40s, but as we get closer to like 50, 60, like that panic that time brings of mortality, like it really starts kicking in. I don't know. And then you hit your 80s and they're just like, bring it. But there's like a window of people being like, gosh,
because you're going back to look, you're going back to a place where you're swiping the dust off of the mirror and you're looking at it, and maybe Jordan hasn't even been home in the last 30 years. Maybe they've never gone back, maybe brought their mom out, shown them around, flown them out, whatever, but never gone back. So when you go back and you look at, because I think when you leave a place in your mind, time basically stops. And then you go back and you're like, oh, this happened, and oh, that happened, or like, oh, that hasn't changed. Why hasn't that changed? And it's like this such a weird thing to like try and make your mind understand that these things have changed, but those things haven't. And do you want them to change? Do you not want them to change? Do you want everything in your past to stay the same so that your present and your future is always something new and different and something more interesting and more engaging? Or, if they're constantly on the run, like they were left home, they went as far as they could without leaving the continent, and they're always chasing something else. So in a startup, okay, you go through school, you're always chasing the grades. Then you're out of school and you're chasing a job. Now you're in a startup, which is incredibly competitive, and you never know when it's going to stop and when it's going to start and when it's going to take off. And then once it takes off, you have to maintain, like it's always a race. Like you're always in a race. So 30 years goes by like that. And all of a sudden you find yourself with all this fucking time on your hand and not knowing what to do with it, because you haven't stopped running since you were 20 something and left town with probably a bag on your back and a train ticket because you didn't even have a car because you were a blue collar family and they had one car.
Or a bus ticket because there's no trains maybe near there.
There's no train because the Dunkin' Donuts took over the train station.
Dunkin' Donuts, man. That Dunkin' Donuts is... The train stopped running through town when the paper mill stopped.
Yeah, because
There's nothing to run.
Nope.
Or the lumber mills closed, like, that kind of like when the lumber mill closed, the paper mills closed, and
so I would say I'm going to write down for my fear is like, I'm just going to say, what now?
Yeah.
Like, what now? Because now, theoretically, Jordan has everything they ever wanted. They've got money, they've got success, and now they have time on their hands. They don't necessarily know who they are. I mean, they know
and they
who
have to think about. Yeah, but do they though? Like, now they have to sit with themselves.
Yeah.
Like, they told their friends on the West Coast, hey, I have to go take care of my mom for a bit. They have a nice house out there. They have a life out there. And then they come home. They fly home. They don't know how long they're going to be there taking care of their mom.
Yep.
It could be a 6-month situation. It could be a year.
Well, and like, who's the real Jordan? Is it the Jordan who exists in California? With those people, or is it the Jordan who grew up in this small New England town? Who I guess that's the question. Because now there's two lives. They've lived 2 lives. One a little bit longer than the other one, I guess, but just by a little bit.
Now the question is, so if Jordan is 52, right?
Yep.
I would have been 22. Would Jordan know my character's parents? See my character riding a bike?
Could have. Yeah, I mean,
playing
for
in
sure.
There, like maybe that,
I mean, you definitely would have been around. But would I have ever known who you were? Maybe. Maybe not. I guess that's something we have to think about.
Yeah. And then, like, this future person that, that has all this knowledge, right? All this, has seen it all, is talking to someone who's not seen anything, who is, like, that kind of mind of talking to, when you talk to kids, like, picking their brain of it's fine, everything's fine, but like how creative they are at 10 years old.
Right. But speaking of, we can do your character creation now.
Okay.
Because then we can get in, since we're already on the track there.
Yeah. So I was thinking, because I was thinking as we're, doing our thing. So what is the name? I was thinking Charlotte Young, her name, like her
Charlotte
full name. But she goes by Charlie. So, pretty cool. We already established like 10 because, if they were born in 1983, they'd be 10. If we want to age them up, we could. I
mean, you could. Oh yeah, I guess you could. Like, who do you want to be? Do you want to be a teenager or do you want to be a preteen?
Preteen is fun, I think, because trying to convince a boomer. No, Gen X, right? Trying a millennial trying to convince a Gen X.
Oh my God! What have we done? This wasn't in the lines and bales.
I know, damn it. Up at the boomer age. It's really happening. Nah.
No.
They just throw this away. They're like, no.
This is stupid.
No. Oh, this is a great fiction book.
Look at all this paper they wasted.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna recycle this. No, recycling's a lie. I'm just gonna throw it in the garbage.
No, I'm gonna roll out the burn barrel. I know there's a burn ban, but
Kerosene.
somewhere there's like a boomer watching us, and they're like,
There's no boomers on here. Don't worry.
no, they just watch.
They just accidentally turned on YouTube and they can't turn it off.
Oh man, true. All right, let's see. 3. Where do you spend most of your time? I think the gas station would be a hang.
Yeah, I think that after we described it as like basically an abandoned property, for sure. For sure it would be a hang.
But if it was in the night, like if your dad went missing when you were in your 20s,
he could have gone missing right before, like
right,
a couple of years before, and like once he's gone, the gas station probably shuts down.
Mm-hmm. Yep, or it was still active when you left, so maybe this whole thing kicks off around then.
Yeah, that's fine. Somebody's still operating it, but then eventually, like, it gets too much for my mom.
Mm-hmm. Maybe your mom is a mom and dad shop.
Yeah.
Like convenience store with the mechanic.
Uh-huh.
Garage attached.
Yeah.
So there's no more garage. She can't, she's just running the convenience store. And the kids go in there and get soda pop and...
But for some reason, there's home-baked muffins,
slushies.
Too. For no reason.
Before we weren't allowed to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think John's gas station, something like that.
Yeah, it'd probably just be called John's too.
Yeah, John's. It has like, oh man, we do it based off of their last name. Like, you don't, I think of some of the small, like the names around, like where my mom was, like, they'd go to see the taxidermist, or, like, for taxidermy, my grandpa would go over there and be like, oh, I'm going to, and never said the guy's first name, just his last name. It was always his last name. It was never his first name. So the shop, the gas station would be like, Smith or and they just call it Smitty's or something like that, like whatever Jordan's last name would be.
Okay, let's see. What about I'm trying to think of like good New England last names.
Murphy.
Yeah. Murphs. Murphy.
Yeah. Murphy.
Okay.
Yeah. Now we got you, Jordan Murphy. Okay. Yeah, Murphy. Yeah, hang out at Murphy's at the gas station. But it's like a convenience store, so the kids go in and get like slushies. So there's like 2 pumps. There's like a wire rack outside that has a newspaper. So the old timers come in and they just grab a newspaper. I think of like when I was little, like riding with my great grandparents, we'd go down to this little tiny gas station on the corner all the time. Everyone went there, just pull in. They'd always buy a newspaper for like 25 cents or like whatever. I remember when gas was like under $1, guys.
Yeah.
Nuts. Remembering like getting $1 out to pay for gas, like filled my tank. But there's like a little convenience in there. My great grandpa would be like, "Do you want anything?" And they get like Hostess, like little packet or whatever.
Yeah, some
snowballs or whatever. Yeah, little Debbie's, something. There's a little slushy machine in there. Maybe that's like a new thing. Has a couple coolers for like ice cream and like let's see. Do you have a job? No. Oh, newspaper girl. They have 3 streets, and that's all. Like she just throws the newspaper.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that. Do you want to be a newspaper? You want to be a newsie?
Newsy. I always thought that would be fun, and then I talked to people about their dogs like chasing them and like trying to get them.
Yeah,
Probably not.
probably not.
Yeah, probably not. I would say no. They're a student. I was trying to think of what grade I was in 10th grade, or when I was 10 years old, and I think it was 5th grade. Because I think 4th grade I was 9, because that's when I went to when I was overseas.
Yeah, I mean, 10th grade would be 5th.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be somewhere...
10 years old?
Yeah.
10th grade, you'd be 5th.
Sorry, Doogie Howser.
Yeah, I think 5th grade, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, 5th grade.
Yeah.
Maybe the summer between 5th grade and 6th grade.
It'd be like 4th grade, 5th grade, probably, that summer. Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
so
no,
you
I think
wanna
the summer. Yeah, it could be 5th, 6th, yeah.
Depends on how young you want to be.
Yeah. We'd go 5th, 6th.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. I still had my report cards from that time.
Bring them in.
Most of those are like, if Miranda applied herself, she'd get better grades. I got detention all the time. Yeah, Miranda would be better if she stopped talking back all the time.
Okay, how would you describe your living situation?
I would say, okay, lives at home, rents, high-end apartment. Lives at home. Obviously. Maybe they're one of the new kids that's moved to town. Like, this is their first year, new kid.
Yeah, that's good.
They moved back with their grandparents instead of their parents.
Okay. I like that.
Mostly, maybe because, and this almost happened to me, so this is a real life thing, that the school system where her parents are working isn't great. So they decided that it would be better for me to be in this little town, getting an education where it's safer. They remember it being this safe little town and them having great memories of growing up and, playing outdoors with the lights on and not hearing gunshots, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And you heard gunshots, but there's people down the road like shooting at a target or something, right? But they just thought the school district was better, so they decided to just have me be in this town.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's a good. New kid always gives a lot of perspective too.
Yeah. Especially like a new creative kid that's just like learning the ropes and like they might end up spending more time by themselves because they are they haven't made the friends that they thought they were going to make, or they tried to like, hey, do you want to hang out with me? That'd be a lot of fun. You only live up the road for me, and then they don't. I'm not talking from experience or anything.
No, of course not. Of course you're
not. No.
Sadness.
Let's see. I know. What is something that is important to you? That is 5. I think at like 10 years old, like there's probably 2 things that are like really important to you, and that's like your loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like your attachment to like your family, maybe.
Yeah.
So your family. But my second most important thing when I was little was my stuffed animal.
Yeah, of course.
That I dragged everywhere.
Yeah.
And wait, hold on, let's see if I can. over here. This right there.
Zoom in.
That right there.
Pinch.
Yeah. Yeah, she's sitting there. I'd also I wish I could show you guys what's happening on this end, but the cat is sitting right here. Like she's right here. And you can't see her at all, but it's hilarious because she's just staring at me with evil eyes.
Of course. It's a cat.
I know.
All right, so family, your stuffy.
Yeah, my stuffy.
Your ring pops.
Family, my ring pops, my jellies. Maybe trying to Trapper Keeper. But I'd say family is important. I think probably her family would be the most important. Her grandparents or because I'm trying to think what outside of the box of just family, but what are other things that you'd be attached to at that time?
I mean, I think
because doing good in school is not necessarily a thing. No.
But I think
making friends.
Yeah, friends, a bike, because back then, especially in the 90s, a bike was your key to freedom.
Oh man, your bike was a Huffy, man. Was the ultimate. It was your.
You got that, you were free. You could go. It was a ticket out of anywhere you were. It was just, it meant freedom, and it meant feeling independent, you were older than you actually were, because it was like having a car for when someone turned 16.
I know rollerblades were the thing. Yeah. Everyone wanted rollerblades, but having a bike was legit. So yeah,
everybody wanted rollerblades until they started rollerblading, and then they're like, oh my god.
I know. Skateboarding.
Yeah, skateboarding. Yeah, you were either a bike person or a skateboard person, really. Even if you had rollerblades.
Yeah, I would say, I'm trying to think when I was young, it was in that era, it was definitely bike, and rollerblades were the new cool thing that everyone was doing.
I was always really attached to one good friend too. You had your friend, you had your best friend.
Yes.
And they were because also too, reading everything back, I read, Huckleberry Finn, and then
Swiss Family Robinson.
No, I was thinking
Heidi.
Boys.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Heidi. Do you remember those books?
I do remember those books. But yeah, stuff like that, where you would go and solve adventures. The best friend I had back then, we would pretend to be detectives and try and solve real mysteries around, even if it was nothing. There were no actual mysteries, there were no murders going on, but we would make mysteries out of the smallest thing that we could, and we would try and solve the cases.
We're so similar, Colin. We used to play cops and drug addicts, or no, drug dealers. Yeah. And so seriously, so my friends would be the
cops
dealers.
Robbers? No. That's not high enough.
Dealers. No. They always played super criminals, mob bosses.
Hey,
and they're
Saturday afternoon, let's play cops and cokeheads.
Yeah. And they would this is crazy, but they did, for real. They went and got sugar and flour and put it into little baggies. I'm not even kidding. I wish I was. And so we would go to play, right? And it'd be in one person's basement, and I'd be they're okay, who wants to be the dealers or whatever, the criminals? And I was well, I would like to. They're no. I'm what? And we had fake guns and everything, and they're no, you're the cop. I'm why am I the cop? They're I was always the cop. There's never a time I was not the police officer. They always made me the police officer. I was what is this? But I want to be the criminal. They're no, we're the criminals. I'm
you can't handle this.
No, and this is my route to predator and prey. No.
Okay, so what was important to you was your animal and your friends.
Yeah, my friends, my bike.
Your bike.
Yeah, my bike. Yeah. That kind of stuff.
'Cause
Okay.
That's what got you around your new town.
Yeah. Okay, what do you fear? Not fitting in.
Yeah. Yeah, because that could lead you to a lot of things. Like,
Yeah. Because
the
maybe
fear of
I
not
lost
fitting
my
in.
friends.
well, yeah, I mean, if you're going to a different school
It's a
district,
brand new.
kid,
You're the new kid.
and coming in between 5th and 6th grade, oof, like
It sucks.
that's a hard time to come in.
Mm-hmm.
And the fear of not fitting in can lend you to do a lot of stupid stuff
Mm-hmm.
and, break into things or
Mm-hmm.
go places you're not supposed to be as a kid.
Yeah, I
Or,
dare you to go into this this place, and you're like, oh, I really shouldn't. Oh well, but to fit in with the cool crowd and to be with the cool people, you do that.
I dare you to go into the abandoned hospital.
Mm-hmm.
All sorts of
I
stuff.
dare you to say Bloody Mary 3 times into the mirror, and we'll lock the door on you.
Yep.
That's it. I have a lot of trauma, guys. I'm finding out right now.
The best picket sign for the writer's strike I've ever seen is ChatGPT doesn't have childhood trauma.
It's true.
It's very true.
Mm-hmm. It is really, really true.
Okay, so the fear of not fitting in. I like
Mm-hmm.
that. I think that's great motivation.
Yeah.
For
Especially for a kid.
11-year-old kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It is. And I think that's a fear that like runs itself through all of your life.
Sure.
Really, like, starting a new job, or moving. Like at some point, I'm going to be moving to a different coast, and I'm going to have to make new friends. I have a couple friends out there, but like I'm going to have to, meet new people at work. I'm going to have to like basically start over, and I'm going to be like 40, like almost 45 doing that, which is kind of scary, guys. It's like, because
it's the unknown. Like anything that's unknown is scary. No matter how old you are.
What if I don't like those people? I'm going to watch this in the future and be like, oh no, it wasn't that bad. But what if it's like, it's super anxiety driven, Yeah. It's scary, and I've done it enough times moving around in my life that it never doesn't get scary. It never doesn't not feel like
no,
you're not going to fit in or whatever. People just don't talk about it that much.
No.
So I think that's really good. I think that we covered all the bases for that. So last but not least, so we don't make this like a 3-year thing on one go.
We have to wrap up.
Yeah. So let's build our deck. So that way, the next time we're on here, we're playing. We're doing our thing.
Okay, so read it out to me, and I'll do it and
right.
make sure that it's all set.
All right, here we go. First, you will take your deck of playing cards, separate them by suit.
Okay, so everything gets separated into suit.
Yes, but you're going to make sure you remove your jokers and face cards. Okay, so we're only playing with the numbers. My cat left me, guys. I'm very sad about it.
As we're talking about the fear of being alone and not being with the people you know.
Mm-hmm. She just left me. My dogs have been relatively good. Normally they like bark and are terrible people. So.
I know. No. Your dogs are fine. Okay,
And
I've broken it up into diamonds and hearts and clubs and spades.
Okay. Once you do that, remove all of the aces and they go into their own pile.
Aces are in their own pile.
Yes. So remove all the aces and set them aside.
Okay.
Once you do that, shuffle each of the 4 piles, remembering which is which.
Am I supposed to take the face cards out yet, or no?
Yes.
Face cards?
Yep.
Yeah.
Face cards, jokers, move them out.
Got it.
Then
There's
take your aces and put them off to one side. And then your other cards, you're going to shuffle, but not all together. So like shuffle only the diamonds, only the spades, clubs, hearts.
Got it.
Okay. And then once you're done with that, let me know.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. So you're going to have the piles, they're face down, not face up, face down.
No cheating.
No cheating, guy. And then you're going to place cards in the following order from bottom to top. Okay.
Bottom to top.
Got it. Bottom to top. So the ace of spades is on the bottom.
Okay. So ace of spades.
And then that'll be face down.
Bottom. Face down. Bottom.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So now you're going to take 3 random cards from the spades pile.
From the spades pile?
Yep, and that goes on top of that ace of spades card.
3 random ones.
Yep.
Okay.
Then take the ace of clubs face down on top of those 3 cards.
Got it.
Now you're going to take 3 random cards from the clubs pile, and they go on top of the pile you just made.
Got it.
Then it goes ace of diamonds.
Okay.
And
then
you
3
guessed
random
it.
Diamonds.
Yep. Ooh.
I'm a fast learner.
Ooh. Then once you get those 3, it'll be the heart face down.
Face
and
down.
then 3 random cards from the hearts pile. So when you're all done with that, you should have 16 cards.
Okay.
And then all the other cards just put off to one side. You're not going to use them.
Okay.
And so you're going to just recognize this is now called your Deck of Providence. Once the Deck of Providence has been built, you're ready to begin playing, which we're going to do on the next session. To begin the game, the present, which is Colin, will draw the top card from the deck. They will then consult the table, which is page 8 in this book. We will read the prompt, and we'll post it on TikTok too, so you can see what the prompt was. We're going to post what we write on TikTok, so you can just check it out if you want there. We might take photos on our own personal Instagram too, just for funsies, but you'll see it. And that will be their prompt. So that's
Should
what
I
they
pull
will.
the prompt now as a teaser?
Sure, do it.
Do you want to read the prompt too? Is that giving too much away?
No, we can read the prompt. Now,
Okay. Cool.
show that. I'll read the prompt. We're not gonna. We'll read the prompt, and then on the next game, we will reiterate what that prompt was, and Colin will write it while we're sitting there. All right. So let's see. Once we do that, that will be our first entry. And what is that? That is a heart.
5 of hearts. It's way too bright to see the thing. It's 5 of hearts.
5 of hearts. All right. Okay, 5 of hearts. This is what it's going to be. 2 prominent people or groups are in the midst of a dispute. What is it about? And how does it affect you or the town?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
When they're finished, they will give the journal to the past, who will read the journal entry. And then I end up drawing the next card from the prompt deck and write the entry of my own. So we will get what Colin ends up writing on the next round, and then I'll be able to pull, aka Colin's pulling for me. We'll read the prompt, and then I'll start writing, and we'll see where we're at.
Because the journal basically travels back and forth through time.
It does.
Is what we're getting at.
Yep. So I'm going to, as the past, I'm going to see stuff from the present and be like, what? I'm this little kid finding this journal of like, oh, why are these people angry. Who are these people?
Yeah.
And going from there. So
Okay, I'm gonna list where people can find us
yeah,
as
Cool.
soon as I can pull it up. And next time I will write down all of our thingamajiggers so that I don't have to do this as we're doing it. But you can find us on Twitch as the Elder Elves, and that's Elfs, ELFS.
correct.
There
You can find us on TikTok that way
you go.
as well. You can find us individually on TikTok as. Go ahead, Mr. Colin.
Me for everything is just Colin Carlton VO, and that's for TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff.
Yep. And me, you can always find me as Obscurabrasion. Pretty much is everything except for Facebook. But we're not there yet.
No, we're not.
Okay.
We're not.
We're not that close yet. Okay. But we could be.
We are also on YouTube, and I'm trying to find our channel. This is very poor planning on my part. I should have done
That's
this.
all right. This is our first time, guys. Second time, truly, but first time being live doing this. So bear with us. This is in real time. We're not making this stuff up. I mean, we are kind of, right, when we play.
I mean, we are.
Not
literally.
this particular moment.
Here, it actually might be easier if I do it this way.
I can't wait for people to look at how I write things. My handwriting is garbage.
Okay, well, we're also on YouTube as the Elder Elves.
We are.
Even though I can't find the exact one, but I think it's just the Elder Elves.
That's fine. We will.
So we can find everything on the Elder Elves. If you're listening to this and not watching it, go follow us on the other channels too. And if you're watching us, we are also going to upload this as a podcast for people who just like to listen as they go.
That's right. And hopefully you guys like this and you stick with us as we get through this entire game, which I'm really excited about really deep diving into. Same. And it all started from a prompt really on TikTok. To be honest, there was a creator that listed 8 different 2-player TTRPGs that have like a cosmic horror or that horror kind of story, and that's what inspired me to go to Colin and say, let's do this. I think this would be really fun, and it'll help us both like really focus and get some more books out into the world that you guys can look up on Kindle. Colin, what is the name of your book that you have out?
Oh, if you want to find that, that's called Infinite Velocity. And there's Infinite Velocity, and then oh man, the second one, something about a horizon. But if you find Infinite Velocity, you'll find me. It's been a while since I looked at those or anything like that. But yes, those are books that you can go and purchase of mine. Infinite Velocity is the first one.
We never talk about it, but you do. You are published, but it is out there. You can get it on Kindle, Amazon. That is what I will be publishing, a queer fantasy-esque story, not horror based, but it is a like queer fantasy. Yeah, it's going to come out. Yeah, it'll come out. I got a little bit more to do, and then I'll make the announcement here when it's out. Hopefully by the end of this year, guys.
Beautiful. Well, I had a lot of fun. And
me too.
I can't wait to do it again. I think
Same.
This is going to be very enjoyable. And I hope everybody else who is listening / watching this also enjoyed it. Join us next week, and we'll do our first entry.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Good, me too. All right.
Can't wait.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys. Thanks for joining.